Hey guys, I wanted to come on here and make a video regarding the passing of Charlie Kirk this past week, and some of my thoughts on just where we are at as a society and what I believe to be true about him. And this really affected me, actually. I realized that as a society, we have really lost the ability to have debates in good faith and be able to enter into healthy debate with people that have views we don't agree with. One thing I admired about Charlie is that he opened up a platform for people that didn't agree with him to come and talk with him, and vice versa, for him to talk with them. And it's just like, I don't feel like we enter in anymore to discussions with people with the intent to gain understanding, which really is what debate is supposed to be. We don't enter into debate or discussion with people to learn or to understand or to listen. We live in a society where we have been conditioned to view certain people a certain way and to view certain beliefs in a certain way also. And it is much easier to place labels on people, to call them a bigot, to call them a fascist, to call them these names, rather than taking the time to listen to the full extent of what they are arguing for. And it's really irked me. One thing that's really irked me is how some social media platforms, some news broadcasting stations, they've depended on people who they know will not sit down and ever listen to a full message by Charlie Kirk. They are depending on people who view him, have a preconceived notion of him, and who won't listen to him. And then they are taking small segments of what he has said in his debates and posting them to kind of reaffirm the preconceived labels that were already held against him. And I think that that's so wrong, because it strips people of their humanity. And when we don't take time to listen to each other, we lose the humanity we see in the people we don't agree with. And I'm seeing that in the political spectrum. And to be honest, I see it a lot more on the left side, that people are just seen as bigots and seen as these things, but nobody's willing to move their ideas around at all to be open. And it's very ironic to me that the left sees themselves as being open-minded, yet they're not open-minded towards any conservative values or views. They're not even open to hearing it, because you've already have a label of homophobe, transphobe, bigot. You're already given that label. And so if you are somebody that hasn't listened to a full Charlie Kirk debate, my encouragement to you would be sit down and listen to some of his videos. I think that that's how we can create a more positive impact, is just take the time and listen. To be honest, I didn't I didn't necessarily like the approach that Charlie Kirk took. And honestly, I judged him based on these small clips I had seen of him. I judged him. But the interesting thing is, since his death, I've sat down and I've watched his full debates. And when push comes to shove, the guy is extremely intelligent. He knows his facts on government. He knows his history. And the points that he makes, whether you want to hear it or you don't want to hear it, are actually truthful. They're actually logical points. They're not just him coming out saying, well, I don't think that, men should be women and women should be men. He's not just saying, like, there are actual logic and truthful things he's bringing forth to the table. And I wish that we would give people the time of day, because you could actually learn a lot. A quote by George Orwell has been coming to my mind quite often since Charlie's death. And it says that the further that a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. And what I've noticed is that Charlie Kirk spoke common sense, and he spoke logic, and he spoke things that were based on actual facts and statistics and things that make sense. They actually make sense. But because people are already been conditioned to believe a certain way, it's very, very hard for them to listen to what Charlie has to say, because for them it almost seems immoral. Like, it almost seems wrong. It seems exclusive. It seems like bigotry. It seems, listen, like, if you can listen to what someone's saying and what they're saying is actually making logical sense, then maybe it's what you've created as your compass needs to shift and not the other way around. But we're not ready for that. And anyways, I admired Charlie Kirk. I admired his boldness. I admired how he presented a platform for people to talk instead of people not understanding each other and just being divided. Talking is always a better option than judgment, especially if you can talk from a place of wanting to understand one another. And I admired that he stood up for the things that I also stand up for as a believer in Christ. I admire his boldness for his faith. And it's a huge loss. It's a huge loss to lose someone like this in the world. But I know that he is with Jesus, and one day I hope that I can meet him in heaven and talk with him. And so yes, these are just my thoughts on his passing, his assassination. No one's obligated to believe what he believes, but I think that we need to wake up and realize that the political spectrum and our societal condition is at a place where we no longer view people we don't agree with as humans. We have demonized people we don't agree with, and that's a terrible tragedy, because you could actually learn. And Charlie was one of those people that I really feel like people could have learned from if they had just entered into a discussion with him with an open mind, or just took the time to listen to his videos, because he spoke things that were true and made sense. And yeah, it's not like what people want to hear, but truth doesn't, your feelings don't dictate the truth, right? The truth and the logic should come first, and then your feelings will catch up. It should not be the other way around. So that's my thoughts on him. Thank you for listening to this long video.